Hello. So, you know how I get happy?
Yes, I
The
do.
way you told me to?
Yes,
I'm gonna share something with you. You ready?
ready.
It's the thing that you shared with me.
Then it's perfect.
Let's share the screen.
Uh,
What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can
you
pass
gotta
that.
do the lips. Do the lips.
Just joshing. I'm spending this holiday locked in. My body got rid of them toxins. Sports in the top 10.
I'm telling you.
Ball in the end zone, put a bad bitch in the friend zone. This shit sound like an intro jet song. Give me that tempo. So cool.
Spend the rest of the month saying,
Don't make a friend zone. In the building, I move like a
got
dime.
rid of them toxins.
Medellin, Vincenzo's. Me and my amigos got that free smoke on the West Coast. Yeah, I'm talking about pre-rolls. Dark hair bitch, she look like she go. She do. Hometown hero, feeling myself, can't murder my ego. She heard my deep stroke. She said, babe, does
Oh,
it
you
hurt
know
when
that
I
little
deep
picture that goes.
Certified pre learning my lingo.
This
Back
one.
then, I was worried about me though. In the gym, trying to work on my free throw.
There you go.
Goddamn. Spending money at the club like Sam.
It's a little fun.
She a little freak on cam. She don't put this on the ground.
You just
Little
leave it
boy
in the
try
air.
this on the ground.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
can't touch my fam. Shit's hot, hit the switch on the fan. This where my head is. I feel resentment from every direction. Even some
Every
homies be
direction.
wearing expressions. I
I'm
be just
telling
wearing
you.
my blessings.
When you break down the lyrics,
Connection. Now I
like,
just feel
that's
this
deep.
stretching. Getting rich, taking advice from people that never could stare at reflections. Somewhere in there is a lesson.
he's going to have an entire generation talking about eliminating toxins.
Eliminating
Gotta
toxins.
cherish the present. I'm drinking water and wearing protection. Got a career and I'm very invested.
Drinking water,
Very obsession. I like to call it a passion. I can be
eating
sitting relaxed.
pasta.
PG, we getting some traction. I'm at the venue, it's packed in. I'm digging her accent. I got a BB Simon belt on me, and she trying to get it unfastened.
All right. You juiced up. You warmed up.
Woo, child.
Exactly. Shake it off. It's all good. What's
Thanks for letting me
popping?
know about that song.
Exactly. You got to know what's popping.
I look like it's popping.
Absolutely.
We're just, helping you have a positive outlook while you're at home working or doing whatever you're doing, sitting with your
Exactly.
like me.
Yes. Some of you need a dance break, a shake break, a wiggle break,
Wiggle.
all of that.
Those are my favorites, the wiggle breaks. Because, it's just, you have to get it out.
Absolutely.
I used to do it with the kids all the time. Be like,
Exactly.
all right, let's wiggle. Get your anxiety out.
Yep. Get the
I mean,
wiggles out.
as adults, we got to do the same thing. We got to exercise. Last night I was doing yoga, going for a walk. I know that we can't so much, but if you go around your neighborhood or around your, and keep your distance.
Around your backyard.
Yes, because I'm there.
Around your side yard.
Come on, buddy. My dog.
Sometimes in front of the front porch,
just get up and wiggle.
Steps are steps. You got this.
So how you doing?
Oh man, it's been good, but it's very, very different. So just trying to sort out a lot of detail. I've been on a lot of webinars and conference calls. I've been talking to CPAs, attorneys, tax attorneys, just navigating the CARES Act, the stimulus package, and just dealing with our clients and everybody that could qualify, might qualify, want to qualify, just, making sure that they, pass the litmus test and it makes sense for them and which one of the products makes sense, because a lot of people want to apply for everything and everything doesn't apply to everybody. So just deciphering through all of that. We've been working nonstop since it passed on Friday. Last Friday, we've been working nonstop and dealing with the changes as they're coming real time. And so anyway, so it's been quite busy.
That's good. I've been busy myself. I finished my last campaign. That was fun. I hate ending campaigns though, because I'm just like, oh, that was so much fun. Next. And just making sure that whatever I'm doing, it's a good voice. And right now, like, I see and I hear a lot of people stressed out on the go. They're like frantically stressed out. So one thing that I'm going to tell you is do your breathing. I mean, literally in and out, in and out.
See, this is perfect because this feels like it's right in sync with our theme song for the day. Because that feels like the body getting rid of some toxins, you know?
Yeah, you have to let it out. You know?
Yes.
You get the wiggles out, you get the anxiety out.
Yes. And you
Make it feel
breathe
better.
out toxins. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. So, it's just everyone's going through it. You're not alone with it. You're not the only one that's going through something. We're all going through it together, and everyone's taking it differently, yes. But I'm a huge believer that when you're going through some difficulties or changes or adjustments, laughter is your biggest medicine.
Yeah.
Like, I could tell you from experience, when I've gone through a lot, just having someone make me laugh or be silly or do something like that has always helped me, especially when doing business with somebody and they're a little bit too much. I tend to just hold myself back and be like, "Usa, let's check in with yourself and take care of yourself."
That's perfect segue to continue our conversation about the
Releasing those
superpower.
toxins.
Yes.
Looking into something else.
Because what's popping? So the superpower. So we were talking about the superpower of opportunity, and I think this is a great conversation that we started, and I think it's perfect for where we are right now because with the things that are coming out of the government and people are expecting their the stimulus check and they're expecting opportunity for their business just to be able to survive, sustain, bridge. It's a great conversation because opportunity can come, and if you're not in the right mindset, if you're not in the right space, it can come and you miss it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people missing targets right now. I'm noticing. I've gotten a couple of consults, and they're like, "Well, I don't know what to do," and they've been doing it all along, but their mindset isn't fully there in their business, and I've had to like recalculate. Be like Siri, like recalculating, just sending them back to where they were at and grounding them, and be like, "Hey, look, you were doing this. Let's keep it there." And continue on with that. Like you can still there's a bump in the road right now. Like you can't see your people, personally, but you can still see them face to face, just like we are right now. We're in communication, we're talking, and we're able to continue our show.
Dancing.
And we're dancing and wiggling it out and releasing those toxins. And we're still able to do what we normally do. The only thing is that we can't touch, we can't shake hands. And I mean, it's an adjustment. An adjustment takes a while to go through, and everyone's going through an adjustment right now. Adjustment of getting to know your family. A lot of people are getting to know their families, again. And
divorce rates are high, by the way. But go ahead.
The what?
The divorce rates are high, but
well,
another conversation. Another conversation.
Everyone is saying that. That's true, but I want to see when everybody goes back to adjustment. The adjustment of getting to know people and who are you really, like having that patience to be with somebody and remind yourself. I think that's good to talk about right now. Remind yourself of who was that person that you got married to and talk about that. And literally going back to basics. I'm a huge advocate about going back to your basics. And what are your basics? Like, look, your livelihood, the way you shower, the way you take care of yourself, the way you comb your hair, the way you put your makeup on, your lipstick is popping, you know, how you release your toxins, literally the basics of life, like how you eat, how you drink, how you like take care of the people around you and yourself and your friends. Are you communicating with your friends? Me, I've honed down to my silliness because everybody knows I'm very silly. And that's just me. And I will forever, I think, be that person who will try to make you smile while you're going through a lot of something. Um, so with that, I I just say go back to your basics, who you are. You know, like it's kind of scary to go through that a little bit because you're just like, oh, I didn't like that about
Mhm.
me yesterday. I didn't like that I was too sad yesterday. I didn't like that I was too, you know, I don't know, whatever you might be feeling, too anxious. I
Mhm.
didn't like that. But remind yourself that every day is a new start, literally. Like you can literally wake up and be like, all right, let's let's do this. And have that mindset, you know, that no matter what happens or what's going on, you have the capability to either draw it out, you know, write it out, type it out. You know, there's so many ways that you can do this now. Type it, write it, put it on your phone, talk it on your phone, tell somebody. I always like to tell people what I'm doing because it gives me a sense of accountability.
Mhm.
There's that connection somehow. Like right now, you know, there's that connection with you beforehand. So, you know, there's always these things that you can do so that you can hone in on that and take care of yourself, you know,
Yeah.
and keep it, and always end it with a positive. I always say, whatever you're doing throughout the day, always try to end your day or whatever you're doing with something positive. Like, we just started positive, right? But we're going to end positive too, because I'm pretty sure we're going to put the song on towards the end.
This one.
You know, just
I think
end
I have a
something.
I think I have another song for you.
Oh, even better.
Wait a second. It might not be appropriate. Think about it. We'll work it out. But one of the
But
things
always,
oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
So always end it with a positive. That's
Yeah. One of the things that you said that I really liked is just kind of this reshifting of being able to I think people don't realize the power that they have to decide who they want to be. You know, you can you could have a day and it could be frustrating because this didn't work or that didn't work, and it's okay because you have an opportunity to decide who you're going to be moving forward,
hmm
right? And when you were talking about kind of back to the basics, I think that the schedule or the heaviness of like this, our days and work and worries and all those things, they just kind of build layers and they build like a residue where you kind of get lost. And
hmm
if you can, in this situation, just kind of clear out the minutia, clear out the distraction, clear out that stuff,
yeah,
and be able to be clear on, you know what, this is who I'm going to decide to be.
yeah, it's true, and it's what. Well, I was telling my friends on Facebook. I go, you guys should really like clean your closet in your house because that not only gives you a sense of organization, it gives you a sense of, okay, I have some sort of control of something, you know, and it gives you a sense of completing a task that you've been wanting to do for a while anyways, because we're so busy in our lifestyle, like you were saying, and so busy on our everyday schedules and everything like that. And like you said also, we have to hone down to organization and what we're doing, right, in our
Mhm.
life. So I agree with you. Um, Keeping it basic and honing on those organizational skills are important, and your
Mhm.
schedule is important.
Yeah.
And we are going through a lot, and we're not. You're not the only ones. Like seriously, everyone is going through it. You could even tell when the people talk. You know, when today what was it? One of the governors was talking, and he's like, I have kids. I have 4 kids. And I was like, ooh, child. You know, I can only imagine how your wife is doing. And he gave her props because he acknowledges all of the work that it takes. Like, goes back to basics. It takes a village to raise a child, you know?
Mhm.
And acknowledging the fact that, yes, I am frustrated right now. yes, I am angry right now. And yes, it's not my way right now. I'm not getting what I want right now. I'm not doing exactly how I wanted or I pictured it. But you know what? There are ways that you can get through it. And there are
Mhm.
ways that you can continue to go about doing something, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're all going through that phase.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that we can look at, other times, for those of you that were in business or around in 2008 or 9/11 or just any other kind of time period where there is change, that is, you know, just eminent, just right on us, and we're forced to do things different
Mm-hmm.
because of circumstances beyond, our control. And so you just, what I mean, you think about people that thrive or people that are able to rise or people that are able to like come through in those scenarios and just what type of characteristics they carried. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that the heart of some of the conversations that we're talking about is what it means for you to, unpack some of that for yourself
Right.
so that you can actually win in this environment, that you can be okay in this environment. So
Be
that's,
resilient.
yeah, you know.
Yeah. Resilience is such a key point right now with everyone. Learning what resiliency means is, it's like resiliency. Here I go with my metaphors. You ready for the one?
I'm ready because you
It's
never know what's going you never know what's going to happen.
wait, hold on. Let me see if I can explain it visually. Oh man, I'm
I'm
dropping
scared.
everything. Okay, so resiliency is. Do you see this as this little circle?
Mhm.
And then you see how we pull it,
Mhm.
and then it goes back.
Mhm.
This little circle is resilient because it goes back to its original shape,
Mhm.
right? It might be a little stretchier after a while, but it still goes back.
Mhm.
Sometimes it might even like become like a little oval sometimes, but it still goes back. So
Mhm.
it's like that's what resiliency looks like. That
Mhm.
we're able to, no matter what happens, you
Mhm.
know, get back to it. Like
Mhm.
it might not be the same finger, it might not be the same hand, it might switch hands, but it's still gonna go back to
Mhm.
kind of like homeostasis, right?
Mhm.
So when you're talking about resiliency in business, it's very much similar to that. Like we have changes and bumps and stuff that we have to do, but our personal skills, our customer service, who we know we could have been in the live, could still be done right now. Like we're doing this right now. Like I know I would have a lot of more fun trying to throw this little thing at you as I'm trying to like.
You're hilarious because I throw it back. I throw it back. You be like, "What was that?" The resilience hitting you in the head.
But I won't. So I'll just like, oh, throw it out. But going back to it, like everyone has it at some point, or it's learned. You can learn resiliency, believe it or not. It just takes it takes time. Remember, we're talking about time. It
Mhm.
takes time, it takes patience,
Mhm.
and it also takes a lot of getting to know yourself and going back to catching yourself and checking in with yourself.
What do you say to someone who thinks that and I'm see if I have anything, but what do you say to someone who let's say they feel like they are being stretched to the point of aha. What do you say to someone who feels like they're being stretched to the point where they're about to break? What do you say to them?
Let it go. Take care of yourself. Go back. So one thing that happens when you're stretching something, if you break it, you're allowing it to break, right? So it says my but if you stop doing that, you stop doing whatever you're doing to make it break, then you're not going to break it. Now you
Mhm.
have a choice to either want to break it or not break it. And then you have the oops, right? Oops, I did it too much and, it broke.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a different type of breaking. There's one where you're not realizing that you're doing too much. And then you have one where you realize and you feel that you're doing too much. Now, that's when the whole check-in part comes in,
Mm.
because you're checking in with yourself and you're being honest with yourself and be like, am I doing too much? Are you doing too much? Is it too much? And right now, a lot of people might feel that way. And that's where we need to prioritize our schedules and what we have to do. Because we do a lot of scheduling, a lot of this, a lot of like right now, everyone's like, oh my gosh, I have many friends actually, who have more than 2 kids. They're teaching them online. They are, thankful for the teachers that are helping somewhat. They have to feed, doing like 7 meals, for so many kids and family and husband, and like 7 days of meals, I should say, which is 3 times. So that's 21 meals per se. And then there's snacks. And then they have to go out and play outside with the kids so they won't get fussy. And if they do get fuzzy, I'm just thinking about it. It's like, ooh, child, really. And I empathize with people because we are so set in our ways that we have we have those things that we do normally. Like me, for example, I'm the type of person who I like to go to the office and work. I don't like to come home and take my work home. I'm just not that person. There's many people like me that are still adjusting to that, and I know that. And then there's people that can't take the work home or work from home, and they're used to that. But now they have to adjust to having the kids over because they're not at school. They're not at school anymore. So their little sweet time of working and their peace and quiet is no longer peace and quiet, right? So that's when you check in and you're like, am I going to let this break? Am I not going to let this break? What am I going to do to adjust so that it won't break? Right? You're checking in.
And I think that's key, because what it is that people don't realize that you always have a choice in the matter, which for me is like the major, that's a major thing to get in your life, is that when you feel like you're going to break or you feel like it's too much, like you always have choice in the matter. You have a choice to say yes. You have a choice to say no. You have a choice in what you're going to do. And so a lot of people live their lives as if they don't have a choice.
And a lot of people are so, I'm gonna change that word a little bit. A lot of people become so passionate, because the passion, part of what we do in business and in life and in general is our sense of self, our passion, the things that we love to do. And we get so honed in on it that yes, it helps us because we're doing better, or in business, we're killing it, right? But then we get so caught up in it that we don't check ourselves or anything around us that's going on. So yes, you are right that we do have a choice, but there's also those times where our own mind doesn't allow us to focus on anything else, because a lot of people are very narrow-minded too. So it really depends on the people. And I'm not putting it as an excuse, I'm just putting it as a let's see the other side also, because you're getting happiness out of it, you're getting excitement out of it, you're feeling like I can live my life because of this, this is what I've always wanted to do, but yet at the end of the day it's hurting you. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I took a break, was because I was working with trauma day in, day out, with children who were extremely traumatized and families who were extremely traumatized. And after a while, I myself was traumatized in a way, because I'm helping everyone and helping everyone and helping everyone. And I had to check in with myself. And it took a lot, to be honest. It took a lot for me to realize, hey, look, I need to take care of myself right now, And everyone's like, Jess, you need to take a break. You need to take a break. Everyone's telling me, or somebody else is always telling me something like, yeah, it's good to do self-care. It's good to do this. And that's like our general field, right? In mental health, we always tell each other, take care of yourself, make sure you're taking care of yourself. That's like the thing that we do with each other. But to actually realize it and do it, it's a whole different story. Because my passion is helping and advocating for mental health, and helping people with mental illnesses. But there comes to a point where you have to check in and be like, am I going to be able to breathe and help myself first so that I can help them? The oxygen mask on first.
Yeah, it is.
And then being able to say, okay, now I can help you. Because what's the point of me being half beep, right? If you're not going to get the person that you deserve to get, like you're not going to get the person that is happy and fulfilled with themselves and they're able to help you. And I think every business or every person to a point goes through that. But, that's why we have friends that we trust that can tell us straight up things. I'm a straight up person. I always tell people, like, if you're in my life, you got to know one thing. I'm straight out. I'm very kind. I'm silly, but I'm very straight out too. So I'll tell you how it is. And I expect the same thing. It might hurt a little bit, but the long run, I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
I think everyone is going through so much right now. And everyone needs kindness. Yes, everyone needs someone that's going to be there for them and back them up and help them. But at the same time, I think we also need a check-in and being like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Like our doctors.
Go ahead.
Like our doctors, they check in with you and they tell you, hey, look, like me. Hey, Jess, you need to lose some weight. All right, let's get on it. So I've been working out and doing all sorts of things so I can do that. Because that's my next phase of life, taking care of myself physically. Yeah. So I'm doing that now.
No, that's good. I was going to say that leads or really describes perfectly one of the areas that we were going to touch on, which is around setting boundaries.
Yep.
Which
and that book that you told me about was really good.
Yes. So what we can do is we can put a couple links for the books. One of them is a classic. It's actually called Boundaries. And there is a workbook. I know because I've gone through it because I have my own issues in the matter. Actually, one of my mentors that I love, and she's been amazing to me in the last decade. And it was one of the first books that she told me that I had to read was Boundaries because it was a major issue for me. And then another book that I read that actually was recommended by one of my business coaches was called Essentialism. So we'll provide links to both of those because they're really great resources. Yeah. And they're both on Audible as well.
Awesome.
But, sometimes you need, processes or just even just a different way of how your pattern, we all have a thinking pattern. We all have a way that we process, and sometimes just hearing different ideas of how you can support yourself through creating better boundaries, deciding what is essential so that you can, get rid of the clutter, the noise, all the stuff that's distracting or taking away from the most precious things that you have in your life.
Yeah.
And so being able to do that work on yourself. That's awesome. So those are two things we'll share with you guys.
What is something that you had to work on in boundary base with businesses and yourself?
I want to say that it was really the taking the work home and like carrying it with me all the time, like not turning it off. There's I can produce more. I could be more creative if I'm clear, if I'm light, if I'm rested, you know. But if I'm always stressed and always worried, and there's always more to do, there's always a pile, there's always an email, there's always going to be stuff, and I
Yeah.
just have to pick the most essential. I just need to do the work that I've promised, and lighten my load, or make sure that it's in a space that matches my own capacity, so that I'm not in the cycle of stress and overburden. So for me, it was really kind of realizing why I was overcommitting, why was I overpromising, why was I putting myself in those situations. And then when you peel back the layers, the reasons was really because I felt like I wasn't enough, or I had a limiting belief on myself, or I was trying to, prove something that no one asked me to prove,
Mhm.
right? I'm
Mhm.
already enough. My work is excellent. I don't, there was, there was, I was only creating something that didn't exist. I had made up a story that I needed to work harder to get more, not realizing that I could just be in my lane and work smarter,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Yeah. And a lot of people go through that. A lot of people go through the whole I'm blanking out on the on the word right now. They go through the process of being or feeling not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Um gosh, what is that word? It's a two-word component. You know me and my brain when I need it.
I do. I do. You can start to describe it, and I could, start to.
Imposter syndrome.
Oh, yes. Classic.
Classic.
That's classic. How many workshops, how many seminars to
Right.
unpack the imposter syndrome? I
Right.
mean, I'm
Exactly.
here and I don't deserve it. They wrote me a check and I don't deserve it. And
Right.
I sold it and I don't deserve it.
Right. Like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening and I don't deserve it. I went through that a lot. I had to like talk to my therapist a lot about this
Mm-hmm.
because I always felt that yes, like even the first time that we talked about all the awards that we've both all that I've gotten, and you've received a lot yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You are an amazing businesswoman, and
Thank
you've
you.
been in this field for 20 years or
I
plus.
know.
And I know, can you
How is
believe
that
that?
possible?
Well, when we were born, we were geniuses. And by 5 years old,
It just happened.
we were already doing business. But I felt like I wasn't good enough, and it wasn't until we actually had the conversations and communications of what am I going to do with myself. And when I started doing the Sophia Vaya ventures, I was just like, you know what? I do deserve this. I do deserve to have a life where I can charge people for the work that I'm doing. It
Absolutely.
doesn't have to be always give, 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 give. It could be take also. I
Absolutely.
know that I'm worth this. I know that I'm worth, everything that I've learned. I've been through school.
You have experience, you have wisdom, and we're all, we're compensated in the direct proportion to the value that we
Mhm.
give to the world. And
Right.
you give immense value. So it's
Thanks. What do
time
you
that,
do?
thank you. So it's time that you have an equitable relationship with the, the general public for all the information and resources and things that you give, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's something that people need to hear, is that it comes down to, yes, your 5 minutes of peace. I say do another hour. you know,
Mm-hmm.
that hour of peace, you're totally worth that. You're totally taking care of yourself. You want to go on vacation? Great. Go on vacation after COVID. you know,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to do something like, do you want to just rest? Rest. Do you want to take a mental health break while you're at home and you're working from home? Take a mental health day while
Yes.
you're at home and you're working from home. It's okay to call in and say, hey, look, I'm going to have a mental health day. I know that I'm at home and people are not doing as much or whatever. I'm still working, but I really just want to take a day off. It's okay. You can veg. You can totally watch NCIS for the last seasons or 2 seasons or 3 seasons. You know, Grey's Anatomy,
Yes,
Jack Hollow.
all of it.
You know, it's okay to do all of that. It's okay to take care of yourself. Which
Mhm.
brings us to, what, the set of boundaries is, how are you going to set your own bar?
Mhm.
You've already set those boundaries. You've already done that. You already know yeses and nos, and taking care of yourself and taking care of your family and making time for your family and making time for your friends and making time for the things that you want.
Mhm.
By setting your bar, we have our aspirations, our hopes, our dreams, our expectations, which is a big
Yes.
word,
Yes.
right? What we want to do with our businesses, with our lives,
Mhm.
what we expect from people, what we expect from others.
Mhm.
So all of this comes into play, and we do all of the stuff, and that's where you're like, okay, so I'm going to be at level 1 right now
Mhm.
by such and such date, level 2. But one thing that I always say is, if you don't reach level 2 in the time that you allotted yourself,
Mhm.
it's okay. You know,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
No, I mean I think people need to learn how to be, gracious, with themselves. I think we're
Mhm.
really, really, really hard on ourselves. We're
Yes.
like we're our worst enemy, we're our biggest critic, I mean, we're really all these things. And if you're just a little bit, give yourself a little bit of grace,
Hmm.
then you'd be surprised how much
Hmm.
more you could produce if
Hmm.
you just gave yourself that
Yeah.
space, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that comes into that comes to showing you're totally right. Grace is such a big thing, and
Mhm.
with our accountability to ourselves.
Mhm.
We're supposed to love ourselves first, too.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, love and take care of ourselves so that we can take care of other people too.
Yep. Exactly. Just like the mask.
Like the what?
The mask. The oxygen. Put on yourself first.
Oh,
Follow me.
I heard
You got a
math.
you got an N95? What you doing over there? You know that. What you doing over there? Got a hazmat? I'm like, yes. It's like
I thought you said math. I'm like math, and I was like, where's she
it's
going
like
with
that's deep. Like like geometry,
trigonometry?
like calculus, like
Calculus
what?
3, math analysis.
This one.
No, the reason I know about that is because I had
This one.
one class to take so that I can have a minor in math. Because I went all the way up to calculus 3, and I did not take math analysis because, like, I'm done. I'm so done. And now that I think about it, I was like, should have just taken the stupid class.
Math. That's
Which
what she heard.
it's a mask. Mask.
Setting the bar.
I like talking to you.
Yeah, I like talking to you. Oh my gosh. And so definitely with that, when you're setting it, also don't be concerned with where other people are setting their bars.
Right.
Do not compare
Yes.
your beginning to
Yep.
someone else's middle.
Right.
Do not compare
Nope.
you know what I mean? Like wherever you are is for you. Wherever your bar is set, it's set. But
Yep.
do not look at someone else's. It is
Exactly.
distracting, it is deceiving, and you
Mhm.
don't know what it really is. You're looking at their Instagram, but you have no idea what their life is like.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's so true. Like, plain example right now, right? I'm like starting at, well, not 0 anymore, but I'm redoing this part.
Mhm.
And, when people ask, oh, how many clients do you have right now? I'm just like, not many. Why? Because I'm starting a whole different thing.
Mhm.
And with that comes tactics of what I'm doing. And this time around, I'm being very careful with what I'm doing, which comes to, I want to tell the people what we actually do.
Okay.
Because the past 2 times we haven't said anything. You're like, yay, Sophia My Adventures, or yay, this and that, and yay, Executive on the Go, but we
We're
don't
just
say
so
exactly.
excited to be here. It's like
I know, we haven't said what we actually do. So, you want to start?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So I am Angel Cade of Executive on the Go, just in case we forgot to mention. And my company is one that I started with my husband over 18 years ago. And basically, what we do by trade is we're business consultants, but our specialty is structure. So we help people be in compliance. We help them maneuver and discover which structure is best for them, whether it's corporation, LLC, a nonprofit. That is all that we do. So we specialize in that space, making sure that people have the right vehicle to take them where they want to go. We have conversations with our clients to explore their exit strategies, making sure the structure is right for them. We work with CPAs, attorneys. They contract us to do this work because this is all that we do. We just make sure people are in businesses that make sense. As a consultant, we do manage clients, and so we have a number of clients that we manage and we support them, and we're a conduit between them and the professionals in their life. So we then bridge the conversation with the accountants and with the attorneys to make sure that the client is getting everything that they want and they need for their business to be in compliance. So that is what we do. So we have clients across every industry. We have clients throughout the country. We have a handful of international clients. So it's been an amazing, an amazing run. We've done a lot of exciting things, but it's good work, and I love what I do, and I love seeing people excited about their passion and purpose, and be ready to invest in it in a higher level so that they can receive money and be proud of it.
I laughed at the ending.
As I would say, be ready to receive money. My favorite line, how would you like to pay for that?
I came up with something a while back and be like, I'll send you the receipt.
Absolutely.
It's funny because I want to, I'm very thankful for you because you've helped me see so much in where I want to go in life. And that's why we got together and we did Sophia My Adventures. And what we're doing right now is we're talking to businesses and helping them see the component of mental health and not only their business, beyond business organization, because there's business organization psychology. But I think one of the things that is missing so much right now is the alliance with the therapeutic component, because we go into therapy and we work on therapy to get things and change things and change behaviors that want to be changed, work through traumas that want to be worked, and therapy has a high percentage of working, just like medication does. Therapy and medication works together is amazing, and there's so much research that has been done on, does therapy help and all of that stuff, right? And for many, 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 many people, the numbers, when you participate in therapy, there is that climactic change in your life where you're able to change things and, move forward. And in business, I'm noticing there's a lot of apps that people are doing, that people are creating for mental illness and mental health, and the distinction between those two. And they are not taking in the component of human. They want to change the behavior, but then there's a component of human and empathy and what is different, and a lot of people use the application, but they don't use the everything else that was created to be able to help that person. Um, so there's a lot of companies that I'm noticing that put out amazing apps, and I won't ding anybody, but there's apps out there that want to help people, but they're forgetting a couple little things that I can help them with that would totally revamp and change the dynamic of how you interact with that human when you're on the application, right? So we tackle those little things. We do a lot of research to help them understand how all that process goes. And with that, we do, because I love humans, and I love to post, and I love to say things that would help people. So we do campaigns also, and integrating the mental health strategies that we help them with. So, for example, if we have a, if we have, I like to work with Ford. So if we have Ford, because I'm a mujer legendaria, and they tackle a lot of the health and strategies also. If I were to work with Ford, for example, I would be able to integrate mental health strategies into a campaign to better help. Now, that's already done. People are like, oh, the psychology of advertisement, or the psychology of this. But then there's a different type of visual when you're a therapist, or when you are a professional that's been in this field for a long time. Like myself, I've been at this for 13 years. So there's a different view that you get from humans, and when they're coming to you individually, that people don't see in the outside world, and that's the component that I'm bringing to them, when it comes to actually inputting things for mental illness and mental health, and supporting, helping them from mental illness to mental health. um, so I work with that, and I've been doing that for, well, I started it with bloggers of health, but I'm actually like focused and at it now with Sophia My Adventures. I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
No, you are, because you send me versions of the work. I really quick, I wanted to, you reminded me about some of the conversations we had earlier in our relationship around your passion with kids and passion with mental health and even passion with technology. For those of you that don't know, my son's a micro, he was born a micro preemie. So he was at risk for a number of things, and he had a grade 3 and a grade 4 brain bleed while he was in the NICU. And he is going to be 10 now, and we've had an amazing journey. He's our little miracle, but we do deal with elements of, he is autistic, and he also does use assistive technology. And what's amazing in having you as a soundboard and a resource, just making sure that, just even having access to, the best options, and having, being able to advocate for resources that are available for our kids or in the community, so that he can have access to the curriculum and be able to, be in a space where he can, be self-sufficient and be independent and be proud of what he's doing or what he's producing. And so all those things are laced into this conversation. So it is about community. It is about our kids. It is about independence. It's about education. And it is also about business, because our hope, and we don't put limits on our son. So our hope is that he would be able to navigate in business or do a work, whether it's our legacy in this business or his own cause, or whatever it is, but being able to give voice to that. So it's a part of why I admire, and why I follow you on this conversation, because you've been passionate, in it since day
Right.
one.
And then we're hoping that next year we actually, amidst of all of this chaos, COVIDness, that we're able to do a conference and provide and link with companies to have a resource, for this, so that we're able to do that. I know that we're working on our fronts right now for our website so that we can have a resource section, and we're able to implement all of that into our website so that people have it as we go. And then just having that SVV stamp of approval that we've been working on also. So, there's a lot of components to it, and people forget about kids, sadly. They want the kids' money, what they bring to the table. Like everything that, for example, a big, huge example, a big hit in music pertains to a child that is 7 to 11 years old. If the kid likes that, if the kid that age likes it, or something like that, don't quote me on that just yet. I forgot what it was. But if a kid of that age likes it, it might be a hit, So if a kid's dancing and singing to it, even though they don't know what they're talking about, it's gonna be a hit. So we humans take advantage of the amazingness and the innocence of a child, but we forget to take care of them also. And as big companies, as big corporations, as we help and unite the fronts of, especially right now that we're going through, it's very important to realize that our children, need that extra kick, that extra help, that extra advocacy, because we want them to be amazing for the future. It's not just taking care of the world and taking care of the earth. Yes, we need to do all that too. But it's also taking care of the littles, because they're the little brilliant minds right now that have so much innocence to them right now, that we're supposed to take care of them and teach not only our ways, but our good ways, because everyone's teaching their ways. That's amazing. But let's teach them the good ways. So here I am ranting already and being an advocate for the littles.
It's like pushing play. Push play. right there.
So yes, I'm a strong advocate for people. I really am. I think the reason I've been through so much is not only to empathize with people, but also to be able to say that my fight has been a hard one, is a hard one, and I'm gonna help, and I'm gonna do what I'm set out to do in life. And it's just, a lot of people forget about the littles, and I'm always advocating for them, because I'm just I'm a big heart when it comes to littles. Which is why I have to take care of myself.
Yes.
And set those boundaries.
Full circle.
Yep. So we have one more. Should we just put it in there?
Or I don't know. Time? I would say next time. I think we've almost gone
we did a long show today.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last two are really good too. So.
Yes. So you'll have to hear it next time.
Yeah. Did you find a song?
It's not appropriate. In the words of my son, I don't think that's appropriate, Mommy. Okay. Go back to bed, whatever. Oh my gosh. Well, we can give him a little bit more Jack Harlow.
Okay, so here, let me.
On our way out.
On the way out.
Since you had no.
I hope that you guys have a good. Well, I guess we can say goodbye.
Oh yeah. Yes, because my brain was like, ooh.
Don't forget to subscribe. We only have one subscriber right now.
Oh.
Well, I know.
It's gonna grow.
Yeah, it will. It will.
And that one subscriber. Wait, is it me?
I don't even know.
I think it's me.
I subscribe. I don't think I can subscribe.
I was gonna say, I was like, we should give him a prize, and then I was like, wait a second, I think it's me.
One prize for you. We should throw out toilet paper.
No, we're not doing that.
Toilet paper for you. Toilet paper for you. Toilet paper for you.
You know this is 2020. If that's the
When
prize.
you need toilet paper.
You know it. But it's just the beginning. So thank you so much for going on this journey with us. We're excited, and we appreciate you being here with us.
We do. Yeah. We do. And with that, here we'll put it towards the.
Got a BB Simon belt on me, and she jacking. I ain't good at first, quit asking. What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that bitch like Stockton. Just joshing. I'm spending this holiday locked in. My body got rid of them toxins. Voice in the top 10.
That's it, people.